Hi there, boys and girls. This is another rhythm lesson, and this is kind of a rhythm lesson for kinder, first and second, but third graders, fourth graders, anyone can do it. Basically, we're talking about the steady beat. In music class, we usually do that with our hands and our legs. And rhythm, which is a combination of long and short sounds over that beat, and you can mix it up however you want. That's the cool thing about a rhythm. Now, your tools that you're going to need to do this exercise, something to hit, and you can decide to use one thing or more than one thing. You can see I have a Tupperware with some bread in it, another container with some banana chips and raisins in it. But you can just use one thing, or you can just use the table if you'd like. Also, some sort of drumstick. Now you can use wooden spoons or regular spoons, or I'm using chopsticks. You can use pencils, anything you have at home. I chose these two things, this Tupperware and this container, because they have different tones. They sound a little different, which is kind of cool. And we're going to talk a little bit about, what level is best for you as we progress. Anyway, so we have my drumsticks, chopsticks, containers that we're going to use as drums, and you're also going to need a piece of paper, and this is kind of a bigger one. You can use your regular size, and then scissors, some sort of marker or pencil, and some paper that you can cut. Okay, the first thing I like to do is I like to make my lines on my paper that are going to show the steady beat, and today we're going to do groups of 4, and I'm going to do 2 groups of 4 beats. So we're going to do 4 lines in a row, and another 4 lines in a row. So I'm going to do that right now. I'll show you how that works. I get out my marker, make sure they're around the same length. 2, 3, 4. I'll do another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show this to you guys. Kind of like that. If you want, you can number the beats underneath the lines. Now remember, you're doing these in groups of 4, so you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5, 6, 7, 8. These beats are grouped in groups of 4, something like that. Okay. So the first thing you can do if you just want to get used to the beat is you need to decide your tempo, which is the speed of your beat. And for this exercise, we're going to do kind of like a medium slow beat. And I'm going to use my hands on my legs, and I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll start over again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we're doing 2 sets of 4 beats. Let's try that together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've established our beat, but we don't really have an interesting rhythm yet. Now we're going to put different sounds over these beats, and today we're only going to use 3 different kinds of sounds. One is going to be one sound over the beat, which we're going to call a quarter note, or ta. The other sound is going to be a group of 2 sounds, which we call eighth notes, or ta-di. That's 2 sounds over the beat. And the last one is going to be a rest, which is going to be no sound over the beat. And you could say rest. You can whisper it, or you can just do nothing, which is even more advanced. Now, to make that, you need scissors and another piece of paper. You want to come sit next to me? Come on. Sit here. All right, so we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to try to rip it as smoothly as possible. I'll show you why. Then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to make little squares, and it doesn't have to be lined paper, but I like the lined paper for this exercise, and I'll show you why in a second. And I'm going to cut squares, and you want your square to kind of be, oh look, I did two at once, even better. You want your squares to be this kind of, to fit over the lines evenly of your beat. I'll show you why in a second. So, we have these. We don't need tape yet because I'll show you why we don't need tape, because we're going to move these around. So I'm just cutting 8 squares because we have 8 beats. Remember, 2 groups of 4. All right, so hope you can see that, and I'll kind of zoom in. I'm going to turn this around for you so you can see it better. Can't really hold it up because all the papers are going to fall. But I have 4 squares of paper on top of this set. Leave that there. And I have another 4 set of squares on the bottom one.
This is my first snack.
I know that's for snack, but we're going to use this as a drum. All right. So, what next thing you're going to do is you're going to decide if you're going to do 1 sound over the beat, 2 sounds over the beat, or no sound. If you're going to do 1 sound, it's called a quarter note. And to make a quarter note, I'm going to make one for you right now. You make a circle on a line. That's why the lines are kind of cool, because you can use it like lines on a staff. Okay? And that's the head of the note, and now the stem. And our stems are going to go up today. This is what we like to call a quarter note. And that's just one.
Quarter note?
Yeah, quarter note. And it's just 1 sound over the beat. I'm going to put this over beat 1. All right, so for our first rhythm, we're just going to make quarter notes. And notice, I cut my papers, and it's just 1 sound over the beat, and we say ta. All right, so I'm cutting more squares. I'm doing 2 at a time. Remember, I like the paper with lines, but you don't have to do that. And all I'm doing is I'm making a bunch of quarter notes. Remember, you got your head and the stem. Okay? So I'm going to do that for every single beat in our pattern of 4 beats. Remember, we have 2 groups of 4. Do them here, since the papers are already here.
Mommy's home. Mommy's home.
All right, so I've made chord notes over every single beat. I'll turn this around. I'm not going to use tape, and I'll show you, and you'll realize why in a bit. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarter notes. And notice, a quarter note, you can only fit 1 quarter note over 1 beat in this example. Now, of course, there's exceptions to that rule, but for us, for today, 1 quarter note is going to go over 1 beat. Okay. Well, the next thing you're going to do, I'll turn around so it faces me, but I'll have video of this in a little bit, is you're going to play each quarter note with your drumstick on your drum, and each time you have a quarter note, you're going to say ta. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. Now you could alternate going back and forth if you wanted to. Ta, 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 ta. Remember, try not to put your fingers on top. That way you're pushing the sound in, which is not good. You want to try to snap that sound out. Keep your wrist nice and loose, get good snapping action. The action comes from your wrist, not so much your arm and shoulder. Okay? That is the easiest rhythm we have. It's just 1 sound over one beat. Okay? Now we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix in eighth notes. Now, eighth notes are two sounds over the beat. I make two heads. And a stem. And a stem. And I connect them. That's why the line paper is good. I said that before. So it looks kind of like that. And now the cool thing with rhythms is you can decide where to put these eighth notes over the beat. Now what I'm going to do is on beat 1, I'm going to have a chord note, but on beat 2, I'm going to put this pair of eighth notes, which we say ta D for. On beat 3 and beat 4, I'm going to leave them as quarter notes. Now on the second pattern of 4 beats, I'm going to leave beat 1 with a chord note, but on beat 2, I'm going to put eighth notes. Beat 3, eighth notes. And beat 4, eighth notes. Now remember, your beat is going to stay steady, but you got to feel that beat inside you because your hands are going to be doing this rhythm. Once again, I'm only using one drum. Now, if you want, you can use 2 hands, but for this exercise, I'm just going to use 1 hand. Now, for beat 1, we're going to say ta. Beat 2, we're going to say ta D, which is 2 sounds. Beat 3, ta. Beat 4, ta. Beat 1 in the next measure, or the next line, we're going to say ta for beat 1, and then ta Ds for beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. Okay, let's try that together. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, D, ta, 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 D, ta, D, ta, D. How'd you do? Okay, let's try a little more advanced. Let's try using 2 drumsticks and try to alternate. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, D, ta, 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 D, ta, D, ta, D. Nice and loose, no fingers on top. If you want to be even more advanced, you can use 2 drums. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, D, ta, 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 D, ta, D, ta, D. Remember, you could also have mom or dad keeping a steady beat next to you. Now, what I'm going to do, since I don't have my mom or dad with me right now, I'm going to step with my foot to keep that steady beat. So mom, dad, you can be doing this with your hands while your kid plays this rhythm. Let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, D, ta, 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 D, ta, D, ta, D. Good. The other thing you can add above those beats is what we like to call a rest. Now, making a rest, I'm going to do it on a big piece of paper so you can see. First thing you do is you make a big arch like that. Then a line, sometimes I forget myself, a line going to the right and then bend it. I don't do it often slowly, so when I break it down slowly, it's hard for me to remember exactly what I do, as I do it so fast usually. So that's an arch going to the right. You come back left, and then you do a straight line to the right, then you do an arch going to the left and come back right. Now, if you're having a hard time making a rest, just make any sort of like squiggly line and just practice making that rest. But I have a rest made right here on one of my paper squares. Now on a rest, we're going to go rest. If you want to be even more advanced, just go and make absolutely no sound. Let's see. I'm going to put a rest on beat 2. On beat 2 of line 2 or measure 2. I'm also going to put a rest, let me make another one, on beat 4 of line 1 or measure 1. Remember, we're in groups of 4 today. All right, so let's first try it the really easy way. 1 drum, 1 stick. Remember, mom and dad can keep a steady beat for you. Medium slow tempo, mom and dad. Right around there. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, dee, ta, rest. Ta, rest. Ta, dee, ta, dee. Good. 2 sticks for a little more advanced. Ready, and. Ta, ta, dee, ta, rest. Ta, rest. Ta, dee, ta, dee. Even more advanced. 2 drums. Okay, this time, the most advanced way, I'm not going to say tas or ta-dees. I'm not going to say rest for the rest. I'm going to hear it in my head. 2 sticks, 2 drums, the most advanced way. 2, ready, and. Good. Now, the cool thing about having these squares like that is you can challenge yourself by mixing them up however you want. That's why I have a bunch of them over here kind of ready to go. I'm going to make another rest just in case I need it. And you can just move these around. Let's see. Now I do have 2 rests together, and later on we'll get into turning that into a half rest, but for right now that's fine. Put a coordinate there. All right, this is going to be somewhat advanced. I'm going to do 2 drums, 2 sticks, but I'm going to say my tas and ta-dees. 1, 2, ready, and. Ta-dee, ta, ta, ta-dee, rest, rest, ta-dee, ta. Now, if you really wanted to push yourself even more, you could start over and do 4 lines of beats. So you'd have 16 beats total and have different sounds over all 16 of those beats. But for right now, for this lesson, let's just use quarter notes, 1 sound over the beat, 8th notes, 2 sounds over the beat. We say ta-dee, ta for the quarter notes, and quarter rests. It's the rest over 1 beat. Experiment with different drumsticks. I'm using chopsticks again, and different percussion, homemade percussion instruments. You can use the table. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. More to come.